All right, to start off with, I just had the idea. I had a false start to this stream earlier. My computer wasn't computing, but hopefully I got that straightened out. But I came in with my coat on, and I decided I just wanted to show you real quick what I carry around with me wherever I go is this. And I'll show you what I have in it. First off, I have this, which you can see there I put Live Life Claimant on there, and then on the next page I have paid my fee for freight. Autographed over the stamp, and carry this as a salvage. I tow this as a salvage because that all caps name is not my name. I didn't create that name. However, I did create this punctuated name on my CPAS-C treaty. So, this is a derelict vessel floundering in the sea of space. Lucky for this came along and now has hooked up a tow line, and now my CPAS-C treaty is towing this as a salvage. Same thing with this. You see, I've paid my fee for freight. This is also being towed as a salvage by my CPAS-C treaty, which, by the way, on the back has my live life claim numbers, and my drogue timelines that I contract with. It gives full closure as to what this is all about, this particular piece of kit. And just for old time's sake and just for nostalgia's sake, I carry this around. Which is David-WYNN Miller's business card, which he gave to me back in the end of 2017 before he passed. Well, he sent it to me. And I keep a sawbuck in here. As you know, who couldn't use a fiber, right? So that's pretty much what I carry in here. And I carry it with me wherever I go. Just in case I need it. Now I'm doing this live stream because YouTube tells me that I can increase the productivity of my YouTube channel by 125% if I do a weekly live stream. And live streams are not that hard to do. It's just me sitting here. And I figure I might as well make it public to invite anyone to come in and say what they got to say. If you have any questions, ask them. If you want to ask about what I just talked about here, go ahead. If you want to ask about the grammar, cool. Do it. That's what I'm here for. I just started a new video series, and what is it called? It's called For the Navigations and For the Verbalizations, where it's just me traveling through the sea of space, sharing thoughts with you having to do with correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, and the different concepts involved with that. The first video in that series is about closure, which is super duper important. But there's a couple things that we can be assured of in the domain of correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, and that is that there's plenty of now space to get the closure that we want. Period. End of story. So, why haven't you begun learning this or delving into it? Is there something you're curious about? You know, back in 2017 when I was learning this, there were certain thoughts in my head, like as far as the live life claim goes, like I was wondering, is the government going to come after me if I have a live life claim? Am I going to get in trouble for this? That's how prevalent the authoritarian construct was in my psyche, to think something like that. But now that I'm on the other end of that, I'm like, why wouldn't I be able to do whatever I want to do document wise, creation wise? Why? As long as you're not harming anyone, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do, create whatever you want to create. Um, but it's very important not to harm others while you're doing it, even if you feel like they deserve it. I've seen that oh, hold on a minute. I'm going to try and I'm going to try and play a video here. Listen to it and react to it. I'm going to try, it's something new I'm going to try here. Share my screen on this live stream. And probably I'm going to have to cut it out of the live stream and when I'm done with it, because whenever I've tried to use anything from Russell J. Gould's neck of the woods, any of his videos, like to talk about what he's talking about, Rachel Dara Prince will try to get me a copyright strike. So I got to be careful about that. So hold on a minute. I'm going to share my screen. And hopefully you'll be able to see and hear what I'm seeing and hearing. This is just a little experiment. Okay. Here we go. Let's see if I can do it. Hold on. What is going on here? Man, I haven't done this in so long. I don't see how I used to be able to share a screen. Can you not share screen anymore? This is wild. Bro, I don't understand this. Like, I used to be able to, there was a control where you could share your screen, but I don't see it anymore. So I don't think I can do that. Does, does anybody else live stream out there? Do you know how I can share my screen? Oh, I found it. Sorry, I found it. I found it. Here we go. All right. So folks, you should be able to hear me as well as hear the video playing here. So what you see, let's check it out. Let's look down here. You can see my cursor down here, hopefully. You see a colon space walk of the walk, and then a colon space, which would be with the postmaster-general of the world, and another colon space, Russell-J colon space Gould. Now, what's wrong with that? Name one. There are several grievous errors in this sentence, but maybe you could point one of them out to me. Quadruple A. Can you see anything wrong with that sentence down there? Colon space, which would be of the, so of the walk, of the walk, of the walk, of the walk, with the postmaster-general of the world, with the Russell-J of the Gould. Yes, the first colon space, of course. What else? There's so much more wrong with it. So much more. So colon space, as quadruple A points out, means it would mean of the. It would either mean of the or with the, actually. But in the concatenation of correct sentence structure, there is an order to things, a sequence. So if you're talking about going from port side to starboard side, it's always for the facts, of the facts, and then verb. Two position loadial fact phrases. If you have more than that, then you have to put a verb in. And then you have to have at least two position loadial fact phrases following that verb. So there are several grievous errors here. So the first one, as quadruple A points out, is the colon space, which means of the, because you would never start a correct sentence structure out with a consequence or a concern of the. You would start it out with for the, which would be the cause of the sentence. FOR, for, the positional for means the function of for is cause, and that's congruent with the authority of the sentence, which would be by. So of the walk, of the walk. The second mistake is following of the walk with another of the walk. And then the next colon would be with the postmaster-general. Now you have two position loadial fact phrases. Of the walk, then there should be a verb right there. There should be a verb between walk and postmaster general. But there isn't. There is no verb in this. So this has negated the mathematical interface. So everything else that comes after it is null and void. So what we have, if we were to syntax this, would be what? Walk is tangible, of is non-tangible, the is non-tangible, and then walk is tangible. So that would be walk is an adjective, which is coloring of into a pronoun. Nothing can follow a pronoun except for a break in the continuance of the evidence or an adverb. And in this case, the adverb is the, and then walk would be a verb. Then we have the colon, which in this scenario, in this context, serves as a break in the continuance of the evidence. Postmaster-General of the world. We have the same scenario as walk of the walk. So Postmaster General is going to be a compound adjective, which is coloring of into a pronoun. The is an adverb, which is modifying world into a verb. And then we have Russell-J, which is standing by itself because it's preceded by and followed by breaks in the continuance of the evidence in this context, which would be the full colons. So Russell-J is a compound pronoun, and then Gould is a standalone pronoun. That's what we're seeing there. So let's see what's going on in this video. And this is the part I'm probably going to have to cut out later.
You gotta keep.
Whoa. Now up here we have colon space walk hyphen the hyphen walk. So if you have a dictionary, I don't know if Russell J. Gould has his own quantum gobbledygook dictionary or not. You have this compound fact. I use the term loosely because there is a non-tangible contract condition of state sandwiched in between two tangible contract conditions of state. But you would have to give closure to what walk is, and you would have to give closure as to what the is. And then you would have to give closure as to what walk hyphen the hyphen walk is, because in correct sentence structure, the hyphen creates compound facts. So it's interesting, though, because the, in a correct sentence structure dictionary, under the auspices that one and one is one word, one meaning, one function, so on and so forth, the would be credentialed as what? Allodial. But here, is it allodial? No, it's not. So now we're running into a contradiction here. So there's another mistake.
You gotta keep in mind, when this was happening, I was surviving.
When what was happening? What's this? We're in the dark here, folks.
Right? Because it was a very tedious thing to walk into the Pentagon and tell them they were full of shit. You meet SWAT teams, right? It's a thing. Yeah, it's a thing. So you want to make sure. So I wasn't dragging film crews around, right? See where I'm coming from? Because I was putting my life on the line, right? And that's where I have a lot of pause for a lot of people that do a lot of talking out here. Oh, okay. Well, you better find yourself in now space before you go tearing into places. Because if you don't find yourself, you're going to get lost.
Okay. I guess this is an advertisement for the Life claim that they're selling for, what is it, 150 bucks, 200 bucks? I guess this is an advertisement for that. Whatever, that video makes absolutely no sense to me. I have no context to what he's talking about. Vaguely, perhaps lashing out at his critics. And I would fall into that category because I criticized the man's grammar, as I just did. I just audited his grammar. He makes the same mistakes over and over and over and over again. So As David-WYNN Miller once said, if you make the same mistakes, if you see the same mistakes over and over and over again, there's only a couple of reasons that you can guess that this is happening. Number one, the person that's making the mistakes isn't aware that they're mistakes. Or they're too lazy, or for whatever reason, they don't want to fix the mistakes because they know they're mistakes, or they're doing it on purpose. I can't really think of any other reason out there. XR4 Jersey says, I was listening to a video about the maxims of equity and thought quantum grammar is full of the same principles. Principles of equity, eh? The principles that I have added to the lexicon, shout out to Cody, to the lexicon of correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, is the position of peace and neutrality, the maintenance of rule one, rule equal, and the balance of the honor and the grace. If that's what you're talking about, XR4 Jersey. Quadruple A says, yes, sound is good. Sharing also good on my end. Okay, cool. Too many of in the sentence. Still got PayPal issues regarding the membership. I hope I get it sort out ASAP. Okay. All right. So it appears as though, well, let's do this. Let's go over to that channel again and look at the content of what's being published on this channel. Oh my goodness. How in folks, if you're out there watching this, how can anyone who's a critical thinker, who has two neurons firing in their gray matter, look at something like what I have highlighted on my screen right here, colon space bracket PRO bracket gram or BE hyphen bracket pro bracket grammed semicolon. You're looking at that. How can you think that this guy has closure on this grammar? He's so, I mean, the examples we're giving here, right in front of our face, which come under his name, it's his channel, so he has to know this is here right off the bat. What is going on here? If you have a dictionary with one word, one meaning, what is a gram? I think it's a unit of measurement, isn't it? And then they put pro in brackets. And then they put a particle of negation, BE hyphen, grammed. And then they have, while they're putting this particle of negation pro in a bracket, they leave the past tense suffix ed in place. What in the blue hell is happening here? As a grammar tutor, this stuff drives me nuts. It really does. So let's see, videos. most recent. They're very short videos, it looks like. Look at that. Not to mention incorrect use and concatenation of position loadial phrases with the colon space at the beginning of every single title. We also have dangling participle colons. We also have particles of negation in the facts, which they're not facts. This is quantum gobbledygook. Really, there's very short videos except for this almost 10-minute one right here. It almost appears as though these are just short little things to get you to go to his websites and participate with the stuff over there, which is marketing. I mean, it's not a big deal. Not a big deal. It's just that, is he really teaching anything on his YouTube channel? Let me pull a book off my shelf here. Maybe I can talk about one of these books up here. Okay, I got a couple books here to look at. First one, and although I am with the position of peace and neutrality, it's always good to have strategy. And I read this one back in 1990 when I was 18 years old, and I've come back to it again and again. It's good strategy when you need it. You know, you need strategy. This is a great book to have for strategy. If you want to know how the fiction system works and etiquette, decorum, this is a good one. Robert's Rules. And it's also, gives you good ideas on how to structure your own meetings if you ever create a community. And then this one. And this one is the Universal Dictionary of the Marine. Yes, I realize I should have sicked that. I wrote that on there back in 2017 when I bought this book. This book was printed in, originally printed in 1784. This is a good one to have if you want to familiarize yourself with maritime terminology. So those are my 3 book suggestions today. Let's see. Okay, Quadruple A says, I'd have a question about the autograph. Why does the top of the back side of the cover page have to be endorsed? And what is an endorsement? Why does the top of the back side of the cover page have to be endorsed? Well, first, okay, what is an endorsement? I'll answer that question first. Endorsement is a no contract word. I don't use that word. That's a fiction construct word. That's a contract with no endorsement. So if you're asking about an autograph on the back side of the cover page, it doesn't have to be autographed and stamped if you don't want to. My volition for doing it is there's several reasons why I do it. And in a document contract postal vessel court venue, you can either do what you just said and autograph, like you have the face and then you flip it and then you put your autograph here. Normally, what I would do is put a $1 stamp right there as well as with a thumbprint with my name and probably my live life claim number, my CPAS-C treaty number, or my port authority number, or my favorite volition claimant number, or grammar tutor number, whatever it is in the context of what I'm doing with that document. I put it there so that if that happens to flip over, they know they have certification on the front and on the back that the fee for freight has been paid and who's the authority of the vessel. Now, to continue on with what I'm saying, you don't have to do that. You can also, at the end of your correct sentence structure document, notice I said correct sentence structure document. I'm not talking about the end of the evidence and the syntax and the stuff like that. The end of the actual correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar, document, contract, postal vessel court venue, where you autograph at the bottom of the page, and that's the end of the correct sentence structure. The other side of that page, you could do the same thing, one or the other. Hell, you could do them both if you want to. It adds weight to the document, it adds value to the document, and it leaves no doubt as to who the authority is. Now, quadruple A, you don't have to do any of this stuff if you don't want to. It's not a have-to thing. Now, another reason would be this, and this is a more practical sort of common sense thing, I would think. Have you ever seen a document from a legal fiction court, from a foreign vessel and dry dock? Have you ever perused their documents? They do that. They have the front face of the document, and there's probably a bullet stamp on there somewhere. And then you flip the cover page, and then the same thing on the back. They will have the judge's signature with a stamp of some sort on there, whether it's a raised stamp or some sort of bullet stamp or square something. So it basically follows the format of that as well. If you notice, does any show have any correct sentence structure in it that you have seen? Does any show have any correct sentence structure in it that you have seen? I'm not sure what you mean by that. NTHNTHA. What do you mean by show? Does any show have any correct sentence structure in it that you have seen? Yeah, I'm baffled. I don't know what that means. How do you get to the conclusion that EN in endorsement means no? Well, that is a parse. Incorrect sentence structure in the context of that. Any word that starts with a vowel and followed by a consonant means no. It's no contract. And that's sort of, I mean, if you're a bare bones beginner here, which it appears that you are, I would highly recommend studying my Parse playlist, P-A-R-S-E. And what Parse is looking up the particles of a word, which you can start with the syllables of a word. Endorsement. All right. look up en, dorse, and then ment. Look up each of those and go to the earliest nativity root meanings of those words. And that will be what we call parse. 1 minute, folks. So there are several videos that I go into very deep closure on why a vowel in front of a consonant means no. And you could definitely check those out if you're interested in it. Or you can email me at jasonmatthewg17@gmail.com and apply for workshops and take classes with me if you so choose. But please include your full correct name so that I know who you are, because you know who I am, but I have no idea who you are. And I like to know who I'm talking to. Very interesting, thank you. Although the fiction system here in the Netherlands operates slightly different from United States fiction system. All right. Let's see if I can do a quick etymology lesson for this individual that's in the chat. Any word that starts with a vowel and followed by a constant, I think you mean consonant, means no. How does it mean that? Who made that rule? How do we know that? It's not a rule, it's a principle, in that if you look things up in a dictionary, let's say, all right, I've already gone 47 minutes in this stream, so it would have been great if you'd have asked this question at the beginning of this stream, and then I could have spent an hour talking about it. But as it stands, I have to draw this to a close, but I'm not going to leave you hanging. Okay? I've already given you some solutions, some pathways to answer your own question, but you have to do your own legwork. I'm not here to spoon feed people. I will answer questions for sure, but I will also help you to help yourself if you're serious about this stuff. All right. So, correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar was publicly founded by David-WYNN Miller in 1988. It's a mathematical interface on grammar, which follows some grammatical fundamentals that are taken from the fiction system. But the fiction system is inconsistent with the way that it presents things in what we call adverb, verb, adjective, pronoun, fiction, babble. Correct sentence structure has no modification in it and no particles of negation in its facts. On its face, if it's done correctly. All right. So I think that sort of would answer your question. Now, if you're thinking about language and grammar in general, who came up with that in the first place? Who created it? Who made those grammatical rules in the fiction? You can't really track that stuff down. But what we can do is we can arrive at the conclusion that the grammatical rules that we use were arrived at by a consensus of folks who agreed that, okay, ED is past tense. We can all agree that, right? Some folks had to come together to agree that ED means past tense. So these are how these things are developed. I don't think there's any one person who makes these types of rules. So that's the first thing. The second thing, it has to make sense to you, or more specifically me, because I can't make a claim for you. So if it makes sense to me and I cognize it and have closure on it, then I can share it. Bro, or I don't know if you're a lady bro or a bro. There are over 1,000 grammar videos on this channel, free to you. If you are serious about studying, you're welcome to it, bro, lady bro. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. And welcome to this channel. I appreciate you being here. It's been a very long time since I've communicated with someone who knows less than nothing about this. And it's causing me to really dig back in my psyche to where I was before I knew anything about this, because I have not been in that position in almost a decade. So I appreciate you being here. And again, highly recommend the mini class playlist. If you go to my playlist tab on my YouTube channel, go to the mini class playlist, and then the syntax playlist, parse playlist, correct sentence structure, communication playlist. Those are the main grammar places where you're going to find data on the grammar, and it's all free. And they all at least have, like, except for the mini class playlist, the other ones have at least 75 plus videos free for you. My gift to you. And again, if you're serious about it, I can take you and guide you from point A to B to C, however far you want to go, if you want to take classes with me. You just have to email me at jasonmatthewg17@gmail.com. I'll set up a 10 to 15-minute video consultation so that you and I can look at each other in the eye. We know our correct names and see if what exactly is your volition behind what you're doing. If you're serious about it, I'll help anybody who's serious about learning this stuff. So that does it for this live stream. Thank you, everybody, for participating. I think I'll leave the Russell J. Gould portion up just to see what happens. Hopefully nothing, but you never know. These folks are very fickle and very sensitive about criticism. Thank you for your viewership. Okay, Sarah, see you next week.